In the Invincible universe, strength isn't just about muscles or power levels. It's about growth, experience, pain, and perseverance. Mark Grayson, aka Invincible, is living proof of that. He starts out clumsy, gets his teeth kicked in, literally, but keeps getting back up. He learns, he grows, and over time, he becomes one of the strongest beings in the galaxy. But now, there's someone else on the rise. Someone younger, faster, and possibly more dangerous. Oliver Grayson, Mark's half-brother. So, here's the big question. Will Oliver eventually surpass Mark? Let's find out. Let's start at the beginning. Oliver is the son of Omni-Man and Andressa, a Thraxan woman Nolan meets after fleeing Earth. That makes Oliver half Viltrumite, half Thraxan, and that matters a lot. Thraxans are insectoid aliens who mature at an accelerated rate. What takes a human child 15 years to develop? A Thraxan can do it in months. And when you mix that fast evolution with Viltrumite genetics, you get something very unique. When Mark meets Oliver, he's just a baby. But within a few months, Oliver is flying, talking, and fighting. In the comics, this fast growth becomes one of Oliver's defining traits. While Mark is still dealing with high school, Oliver is aging through childhood at super speed and training just as fast. So, what exactly is Oliver working with? Just like other Viltrumite hybrids, Oliver has super strength, flight, durability, healing factor, super speed. In short, the full Viltrumite starter pack. But there's more. Because of his Thraxan side, Oliver's cellular development is faster. He doesn't need years to grow into his powers. His body is evolving on overdrive. That means Oliver is reaching power milestones faster than Mark ever did. And that is terrifying when you think about how long it took Mark to become what he is. So, let's talk raw strength. Mark took years to become powerful. He trained. He got destroyed in battle. He fought Omni-Man, Conquest, and eventually Thrag, the strongest Viltrumite of all time. Each fight leveled him up. Slowly. Oliver, meanwhile, was flying and lifting cars as a child. In the comics, by the time he's a teenager, he's already joining missions with Mark. He's throwing punches, holding his own in fights, and challenging full-grown adults. Even though he's younger, he's keeping up. So that's huge. If he continues developing at this pace, and if he lives long enough, he could absolutely pass Mark in terms of physical power. But there's a catch. Oliver's fast development might seem like an advantage, but in a way, it's also a weakness. Because he grows up so fast, he skips a lot of the emotional development that comes with normal childhood. Think about it. Mark had time to learn compassion, morality, leadership. He grew up with human values, with his mom teaching him what it means to care about others. Oliver, he didn't get the same experience. He matures so quickly that he doesn't always grasp the emotional weight of his actions. In the comics, he kills an enemy during a mission, not out of necessity, but because it's easier. Mark is horrified. That moment sets the tone for a long-running conflict between the brothers. Mark wants to protect life. Oliver doesn't always see the point, and that's what could hold him back. Because in the Invincible universe, strength without wisdom is a death sentence. Here's another angle: combat skill. Mark has been in hundreds of fights. He's gone up against stronger opponents and survived because he learns, adapts, and uses strategy. By the end of the comics, he's not just strong, he's a tactician. He fights smarter, not just harder. Oliver, on the other hand, tends to go in swinging. He's fast, aggressive, and fearless, but he's also reckless. And that's the kind of behavior that gets people killed. We've seen what happens when characters rush in without thinking. Even powerful Viltrumites like Conquest or Anissa took advantage of more tactical opponents. So, while Oliver may eventually match Mark in strength, he'll need to develop control and tactical awareness to actually beat him. In the comics, Oliver becomes a mainstay ally. He fights in the Viltrumite War. He trains with Mark. He helps protect Earth. But he never quite surpasses Mark, because he never lives long enough to. Spoiler alert for comic readers, Oliver dies before he reaches full maturity. He sacrifices himself during a mission, fighting to protect others, finally showing the growth Mark hoped he'd find. It's one of the most tragic and emotional deaths in the series. His potential? Huge. His growth? Incredible. But his journey ends early. So, let's bring everything together. Will Oliver Grayson actually become stronger than Mark Grayson? Let's look at this from every angle: power, growth rate, mindset, experience, and legacy, to give you the most complete answer possible. On paper, Oliver has a serious advantage. He's born from two powerful species: the Viltrumites, known for their unmatched strength, and the Thraxans, a race that matures at lightning speed. That genetic combo means he's evolving faster than Mark ever did. While Mark needed years of painful, bloody battles to unlock his true potential, Oliver is hitting major power milestones while still technically a kid. By the time Oliver is a teenager, he's already flying at high speeds, throwing punches that can take down adult-level threats, and surviving hits that would kill most humans instantly. That's no joke. If this trajectory continues unchecked, Oliver could very realistically outgrow Mark in terms of raw physical power. Maybe not today, maybe not next year, but soon, and that scares people. Here's where things shift. Mark didn't just survive all those brutal battles because he was strong. He survived because he learned. He fought smarter. He studied his enemies. He adapted. He made mistakes, big ones, but every single time, he grew from them. That's what made Mark truly dangerous. Not just his fists, but his mindset. Oliver, meanwhile, has a problem. He's impatient. He rushes into battle. He doesn't always think things through. He sees enemies as obstacles, not as threats that require strategy. In the comics, this almost gets him killed multiple times. And in one major moment, he kills an enemy that Mark had already defeated, just because he didn't want to waste time. That moment drives a huge wedge between them. Oliver is learning, yes, but he still has a long way to go before he becomes a tactician like Mark. So, in a head-to-head, even if Oliver were stronger physically, Mark's experience might still give him the edge. This is maybe the biggest difference between them. Mark was raised by Debbie, a grounded human mother who taught him empathy, kindness, and the importance of protecting innocent lives. His morality was shaped by loss, by betrayal, and by the painful truth that being a hero sometimes means making impossible choices. Oliver, he didn't grow up with that. He aged so fast that he skipped a lot of emotional development. He didn't have time to absorb human values. His understanding of life and death, right and wrong, is blurred. And that's dangerous, because in Invincible, strength without purpose is just violence. Mark became a symbol of hope, not just because he was powerful, but because he chose to use that power responsibly. That's what makes him invincible. If Oliver doesn't learn that same sense of responsibility, he could easily become the kind of person Mark is forced to stop, rather than lead. So, will he become stronger than Mark? Maybe. But will he become better than Mark? That depends entirely on the path he chooses. So, final verdict, stronger than Mark physically? With the right development and time, yes. Oliver could become a powerhouse even greater than Invincible. Stronger as a hero, a leader, a symbol. Not yet. Maybe not ever, unless he matures, learns from Mark, and finds his own reason to fight. And that's what makes this dynamic so compelling. Oliver Grayson isn't just a sidekick or a backup. He's a reflection of what Mark could have been if he made different choices. A parallel path. A question mark. He has the potential to become the strongest Grayson, or the most dangerous one. Only time will tell.